Hey, hey, welcome to the Virgo Channel. I'm going to do a general message for anyone that lands on it. However, I'm also doing a reading for my winner. I want to, I give away readings for those that support my channel as a way of saying thank you and also to display my readings because the readings are a little bit different. I like to do a deep dive, which means I don't just look at what goes on the surface, because if we just looked at what went on the surface, a lot of times it doesn't make sense when you're dealing with a soulmate, a karmic mate, a twin flame, soul family relationship. A lot of times we're like, okay, what was that? Like when we're hanging out with someone, they treat us mean, but they that they love us, or we can feel that there's such deep spiritual connection, but the person is doing everything to sabotage the connection. Sometimes we just need answers. So this is why I like to do these readings, because when you're dealing with somebody that is spiritually out of balance, what winds up happening is that we form behaviorisms and habits that affect us. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Gwen. And hey, for my winner, I'm doing, I want to be able to pronounce her name right. It's Serby. I hope I said your name right. Please, if I didn't, I'm really bad with pronunciations, especially when it's a person's name and I need to say it. That's when I'm not going to be able to say it. Then I get overstimulated. And you know when you really want to say something and you're trying to get in your own way, kind of like the your connections in these readings. If you're here to see what's going on within your situation, even though this is a a reading for Serby, understand a lot of times you'll be like, I resonate with everything about this reading. It's not a coincidence that you wind up in the same place at the same time as certain things. See, there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness is going to determine what you do. So that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. What it would mean is if we were conditioned, and I like to say it like this: if we were conditioned in an environment, thank you for the comment. Like you said, it doesn't mean that we're a bad person. A lot of, like, you're a magnet of what comes into your life. That person was an ass. That person was mean. That person was malicious. None of those things. In an environment that was really not supportive to your highest good, but more for your survival. Survival, we're talking psychological and emotional, because how does the spiritual blocks play out in your relationship? It's psychological and emotional. And so in order to understand these karmic relationships, to be able to shape shift your situation, you have to understand what your spiritual block is, why you're attracting this person into your life. Otherwise, we're always going to approach the situation the same way, and then you're like kind of knocking heads with the person that you're connected to. So like I said, this is a general message, but I also tend to feel like, again, it's a real reading for my winner. She supports the channel, and as a way of supporting the channel, it's a way that I like to show. Thank you. So even though it's her reading, like I said, you'll know that you'll resonate. So that came out as regret. So, I feel like you're connected to somebody that shows that they actually have absolutely no remorse. like that you're not working out. And part of this shouldn't really surprise you because I feel like it's narcissistic energy. When you're dealing with a person that's not emotionally intelligent, they, like, again, are not going to show any regret. And if anything, you're going to be like, I regret the fact that I trusted this person. It's leaving me like in a place of lack. And see, that's what happens when you're connected to somebody that plays games. And I feel like that's pretty much what it is. You were connected to somebody that played a lot of games and really had you connected through the fact that you were always kind of thinking about them, worrying. And after a while, it becomes like a trauma bond where you begin to feel like you can't have love, even though you know that you can love. There's a sense of, I don't know what happens in the relationship. Now, I feel like you're someone that suffers from anxiety to begin with, and that actually has nothing to do with your relationship at all. So you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. So when you don't feel confident about yourself, you're only going to attract people that are not confident about themselves. However, the way that they channel out the behaviorism is meaning they over, act confident. Think of the very macho person that comes in wearing a lot of cologne. It's like too much cologne, like too much hair grease in their hair. Everything is over the top. It's like second chakra imbalance, where I feel like you have a second chakra imbalance of the opposite, meaning it's like you'll overgive, overdo, you over accommodate, and you can't help it because you conditioned in an environment to do that. It's the way that you got love. So again, it doesn't, like, again, to the child self, that it was because you were sensitive. When I did good and I gave and I helped out, I got. So the under, when you attract a person that is over, they're gonna have like a lot of narcissistic behaviorisms where it's only about me and it's controlling. So are you following me? Is following me? So I want to know what the hidden truths are. This person loves you supposedly, but understand a narcissist only loves the way that they know how to love, which is selfish, which means that you're like property. You're not really a person. Thank you. I want you. Usually driven by a lot of like, it's all about the physical. So if you're wondering, does this person find me attractive? Yeah, that's the whole thing. The person finds you attractive. And so in that attractiveness, not just by appearance, but also your personality. Thank you. Because the reading's for you. And I was like, but it's like, but understand it's not uncommon for the people that resonate with the reading to be like, I'm on here, I resonate with it, because you needed to hear the message. And again, you're only going to have so many psychological and emotional blocks. There are 7 chakras. They represent the psychological and the emotional aspects of ourself. So when you want to know why you're manifesting like a person narcissistic, a person that's very controlling, that isn't good with boundaries, understand on some level trauma there from somebody that you loved, but also, had a hard time with boundaries. It could be your mother, it could be your father. I don't. Narcissists love being more. Yeah, well, it's again, narcissists like feel that they're a lack. So they pick the cream of the crop. The thing is, the cream of the crop doesn't think that they're the cream of the crop. because they were told that they weren't on some level. So there's a real belief that they're not deserving of it, is what. So yes, they narcissists love. So whatever is grandioso. So if you're pretty, if you're handsome, if you appear to have your life together, if they like what it looks like, because they're going to identify with that, meaning that. That's why I said that the narcissist feels that you're an extension of them, almost like property. So it's not that this person doesn't love, they love distorted, they love mean, they love selfish, where they're not looking at you as a person. So there's like a lack of an emotional connection. And it's not really because of you, that's because I believe the person has detachment. So I wish I could share my good news with you if you want to know whether or not I've understood these repeated patterns come to my life for me to learn and evolve from them. Trouble is, now I don't know. Well, that's the thing. Trust doesn't come from trust. And it goes back to anxiety. So not being able to feel. Your intuition is your spiritual gift. You are a highly sensitive person. You know when somebody, you're like, I don't resonate with the person. I don't resonate with what they're saying. You know. The problem is that if you're so busy you giving and being accommodating, which is always how you entered the relationship, you're not paying attention to what you feel. You're a feeling person. You wouldn't be on my channel only because I'm a feeling person. So you wouldn't resonate with what I was saying. So you are a highly sensitive person, but because there's a sense of not really your worth, you get overstimulated. Where I want to be good, I want to be good, like I like this person, and understand in that you're getting away from yourself. You're not you lose yourself, so you don't know what you feel. Trusting someone doesn't mean you trust somebody else. It means you trust you, because only in and out do you get divine guidance through gut, intuition, inner knowing, the Holy Spirit inside of you. That's the higher self. The higher self is God part of self, the all-knowing. The divine part of you is what's supposed to lead you, not somebody else. Because somebody else is going to lie. Somebody else is going to be, again, only like, see, oh, look, your beautiful face. I like what you got. Look, all the ingredients for me. And here you are, a desert. Because you have to say, why does it happen to me? And it's like, well, there's a lack that you feel within inside of you. So let's look at the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room has nothing to do with relationship. The elephant in the room is how you feel about you. And that's through, again, finances. It's through, I was supposed to get married. Because that's what people do. They get married, But if you don't know who you are and you witnessed marriage, but I feel like you witnessed one person have all the power and the other person didn't have the power. So there's a sense that you also associate narcissism with love, because it's kind of like, well, one person actually runs the boat, but then you're not going to be happy. So you have to become unconditional love. See, God is love. God is just the energy of unconditional love. And so that's a consciousness. So the consciousness, it's like all the things of, forgiveness, perseverance, and all those traits evolve from that. So when it comes to God has lower consciousness, you can tell by their actions. The person that has a lower consciousness is going to gossip, is going to do shady things, you can look and see what they do. If the relationship gets right, of course, you don't want to get married. And the reason why is because what you witnessed. And that's what I said. And you're like, I want to know why it doesn't work out for me. You're like, because you don't know of it of any other way. And as a highly sensitive person, it's what you embody, it's what you feel. That's how empaths are. We're like, I don't know. I gotta try it. I gotta see. And the thing is, you're like, well, how am I gonna see if I don't trust? I might as well just stay safe. So again, there's a belief of I really can't have it. That's the energy. You're holding on to a cognitive dissonance, which is, I don't really believe I can have it. And God says, but I'm inside of you. Again, I'm love. That's what connects us to everybody. And you don't believe that you can have it, but it's like I give you free will to choose, but you're choosing like wonder why. And you're like, I saw was that. All I know is that. All I've seen is that. And so spirit said, yeah, you're doing it wrong. You have to become yourself. And that's to lose yourself in a passion. You don't have a passion. You don't have like, it's like you don't even know who you are. It's like you is like I have ideas of what I like, but I haven't really experienced. So it's like to go into a relationship and then be like, I don't, of course not, because then you're going to be like, if someone's going to take all my energy. That's your higher self. That's warning you. That's a God part of self. Right. You don't want it because you don't trust it, because you've never seen it to work out in a way that you would actually like it, is what spirit is saying. Thing is like, it's not that you wouldn't like it, you would, otherwise you wouldn't date at all. Wouldn't date at all. Part of you is like, I don't really believe I can have it. I want it because first of all, you've never experienced it, you've never witnessed anyone for long periods of time that actually had it. So there's a lot of reasons why you're again like that. When me you, it's not about meeting anyone anyway. It's not even about picking your friends. If you notice, the people that you always choose to be in your life, sometimes they stay, sometimes they go, but the ones that spirit brings into your life, like, oh, like this is like my mother's friend, we grew up together, or whatever, always works out. Don't you think unconditional love also makes one encompass even narcissist and all? No, I don't. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I did before because I was someone that was really, really spiritually sick. And to understand, like, but not dating anyone. Like you, first of all, you wouldn't have been on this channel, and you also resonated with a lot of the readings. So it's not good relationships. So you're like, I'm not going to put myself in an uncomfortable situation. I've never experienced it. I feel like, listen, it's not about the narcissist. It's about ourselves. It's about trusting yourself. Understand when you love, first of all, to love one person and only one person, that's it, right? You only love one person, and that's, you go to work and work is okay. It's not, and you have friends and those friends are nice, but then that person is mainly the love of your life, and you make that person part of your life, that person's actually going to abandon you. It's how much you give. See, we're down here to become the expression of love by doing what we love. When you become what you love by doing what you love, you attract the love, the different types of love into your life. Narcissists might want to come, you can tell a counterfeit. I mean, that's really what it is. Serby. Sorry, Stacy, I'm doing a reading right now, but it's like you don't never try and change a narcissist, otherwise you drive yourself crazy. And after dating, since the divorce, that's okay. Having a love affair with yourself, you have to heal, and part of you doesn't even know what you want after you go through a traumatic experience like that. It's like you become very overstimulated. And overstimulation is like then you don't know what you like, what you don't like. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Like, so I think that it's normal that you wouldn't date, but I think that the answer is not all or nothing. Like, well, I won't date. However, if you were doing things that you really loved and were interactive in life, and you met somebody that said, "Hey, do you want to go out for a cup of coffee?" and they offered something to you, you would say, "Okay." But that scenario hasn't really happened for you. So you're not just going to go out and try and meet someone because part of you is like, I'm not healed after that situation, traumatic situation. So, I mean, that's good, but not all or nothing because I did that too. I did like it again. That's why I could do this job. I recognize all the challenges where it's like I'm not going to get hurt. If I don't go out, I won't get hurt. If I don't date, I won't get hurt. And so I think the answer really isn't all or nothing, but it's to become yourself. You know, do what you love because you get energy, Serby, from doing what you love. You create boundaries when you're again interactive with the things that you love. You're able to like fight that energy of two of, is it my energy or your energy? I get into a relationship. I like the person so much. I want to please them. But then it's like, I don't please myself. Right. And I think that that's a normal place to be, Stacey. Like, I mean, that's exactly where you should be doing exactly that. It's like after most people don't do the work and then they just bring their dirty like baggage into the next relationship. My thing is that not to, if you're here and you're hearing this message and you're both saying, because both parties here that are on are like, we don't date, we're not dating, we're healing because we want to have a like healthy connections, we want to ensure good connections. It's again that the way that you do it is if you were in a bad relationship, you do exactly what you're doing, Stacy. You are healing yourself, which means you're putting the effort and nurturing into yourself. Because unless you really know what you want, you're not going to be able to attract a person that matches your energy. You're going to get a person that also doesn't really know what they want, that has one foot in, one foot out, and you don't want that. And that's what happens too when people haven't done enough healing. That's what it manifests as one foot in, one foot out. They can't make up their minds. And it's like because they're basing everything on what did happen instead of what's actually happening. And so part of what I was saying to you, Serby, and I think you too, Stacey, if you're on, you're supposed to be getting this message, is to get a better connection to the physical body. Because it's like, how can I trust? How can I feel secure? How can I feel after that? It's like I am secure in myself. I'm not secure with anybody else. And so spirit says, yes, but you're able to, with the spirit inside of you, only in the now do you get divine guidance. So the higher self is the God part of self that actually tells you. But if you don't have a good connection and you're worried or get overstimulated or lose yourself, then you're not going to be able to feel and be guided by yourself. So there would be a sense of, well, I'm going to control this situation and I'm just not going to date after a while. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be self-healing like what you are, Stacey. What I'm saying is if you find that self-healing goes for 5 more years, then it's like, well, this is getting a little bit too long. And part of me does want a relationship, but I kind of feel like I am holding back now. Then it's time to say, well, the next step for me is to like train my body and mind to work together. So because again, strength doesn't come from creating support, strength in your outer world, it becomes from being strong within yourself. So that's why they always say people that are successful said like do daily practices, spiritual practices for themselves. And then it's also to, join things, and because part of it is that you wouldn't want to really be interactive like with people. After a while it would become safe to just be inside of your home. How do you know if it's fear or intuition? Well, fear, there's is just anxiety, and if you know, the head chatter just never shuts up. Where when it's intuition, it comes on randomly like a light bulb when you're washing the dishes, taking a shower, just randomly, but there's a call to action right after. That's how you know. And you have to get a better connection to the physical body to determine which, and that's what I was saying. Otherwise, that becomes the problem. That's the spiritual blockage that we want to look at. Not that this person or narcissist, because you're not going to change a narcissist, but it's to be able to intuitively pick up the signs and see, but then also be balanced enough in your life where you have enough other passions and hobbies to not to get the person out of your life. A lot of people know people are narcissists or selfish right in the beginning of their relationship. They're just, the other things that that person does to win them over is why we tend to not look at those behaviors until it's like we're in a marriage, or until like that person has too much power over us. So that's why we say, well, now I don't feel safe. That's what the narcissist does. That's what it would be. Right, because it's like that's how you know, but that's why you guys are getting told to get a better connection to your physical body. Because there's a sense of, well, the real issue is that it's like maybe I'm just paranoid. Maybe I just don't. And it's like, so spirit says, well, part of that is a confidence thing. So by doing things that you love connects you to other people, like-minded people that are going to cheer you on and give you the support and give you the love and nurturing emotionally. So that when somebody that's not on the right level of consciousness, they can't come in. They can't do that, because you're going to be like, I see it. That's counterfeit. It's like I can see. My intuition is telling me. Why? Because it's like you're not my only passion. I'm not so close up to the picture that I don't see the detail. I see the detail. I can trust myself. I train myself to trust myself. And so understand, second time, maybe even third time, you're gonna have a little bit of anxiety. But the difference is you're gonna have, if you trained your nervous system through yoga, I was just getting to that. Like again, through yoga, body, mind. I feel like again, Stacy, like for you, like it would be somatic healing, and and Survey, like you can take somatic healing as well, but I think it's yoga, it's breath work, and it's really because what happens is that when you're sensitive, it's like you're intuitive. But that sensitivity is also gets affected by your own thoughts, your own emotions, and then you get overstimulated. Then you're like, I don't know what I'm feeling. Is it my paranoia? Is it my mind? So, and that was a survival mechanism. So that it became over responsive. So that's why I said slowing down. But when living with a narcissist for long periods of time, it's then to do somatic healing, because that energy is already stuck within your energy body. So every time you get back into a situation that with a narcissist or a person that has a strong personality, won't even be a narcissist, it can trigger you where you become over responsive. And understand we've conditioned ourselves to just react a lot of times. And so like again, like you're coming from a past. That's why I said for you, Stacy, you'd have to do the somatic healing, like not just body mind, because you lived around that. And so you have held that energy in your body, and that affects your nervous system. And so it also affects like the how calm you can get. You know, you've been rewired to, like, again, have eyes in the back of your head. You're overstimulated. So of course anxiety would be, it would be difficult to tell what is my intuition and what is, anxiety. But that's why I said where Survey could get away with doing breath work and yoga, because it just slows down. But you'd have to do more. It's not a one size fits all. I grew up with a narcissist my entire life, someone that tried to kill me several times. So I also would have to do a lot of body mind medicine, because it's, again, they rewire you. So it's like, everything's off. Your energy body becomes off, where all the energy is on top, but nothing's grounded. And so it's like, and that causes problems. It means, oh, you're psychic, you can't make your life work because you can't get out of your own way. So you can read for other people, but so the walk is different, the healing is different. Yeah, controlled reaction. You don't want to be get into another. You don't want the options to be either I'm by myself, or I'm gonna be in a relationship and not trust. We can't have that. We can't have that. It's not one or the other. Like, it's got to be like, I can be in a relationship, and the kind of relationship that I want, because I can trust myself. I'm supported at all times. I don't go 1,000 miles an hour into a relationship. I take my time to get to know the person. It's like I join things. This needs to be you guys, not me. I'm married. It's like, I like join things. Again, common interest. You have to train a person to say no, and that you're not available all the time also. And if they're the only thing on the menu, then it's like, well, that's the only thing. It's either broccoli or a cheeseburger. Well, I'm going to go with the cheeseburger because it's like, it's more appetizing. But then you're like, how did I gain all this weight? I don't want this weight. It's like, in Spirit says there needs to be more on the menu, so that you can really set the appropriate boundaries also, because that's also what helps you, not just doing yoga, and that's where you would actually see support. You would actually see spirit work through you. You would actually see. But the disconnect from not seeing it, I have to tell both of you, you have to go through the experience a few years to actually that anxiety to dissipate. Why? Because you've already gone through the situation a few times of being like, it hasn't worked. So it's like, like where there's a real sense of, so you have to walk through. That's what walking on the fire coals is, when you say, well, people walking on fire coals and it hurts, because there's anxiety. It's like you're training your mind to be like, I don't give a fuck that my feet feel like they're gonna burn and I'm gonna go on fire in a second. I need to get to the other side. So they breathe and they do meditate and they do different things. Well, it's again, same thing. You have to, otherwise the options for you is either I'm gonna be by myself, or I'm going to like risk because I can't trust anybody. And Spirit says that's not really, that's what they want you to believe. That's what the environment wants you to believe, but that's not true. That's not law. Trusting self and believing that, yeah, that like, well, that's what it is. You gotta fake it till you make it. But how the hell are you gonna fake it till you make it if you're like in a relationship with someone and you have anxiety all the time? It's not gonna work. And you won't live long if you don't, if you live yourself and your life isn't happy. And if you're interactive in your life, doing things in life, I can guarantee you're going to meet different people. And eventually you're going to be like, I want to date this person. So that's why people's lives a lot of times are like roller coasters. They're like, I'm not with anyone, not with anyone for like 10 years. Then all of a sudden I'm with a person, they hurt me. Then I'm not with anyone again for another 10 years. But time is not, taking yourself out of the game isn't the answer. What it is it's again, it's to become yourself, to get the support from becoming yourself, and letting a person in your life in baby pieces. Everyone like moves so fast. They pretend that they're married right away, talking about baby. Everyone's having sex right away, and that's part of the issue. To be honest with you, however, when you're interactive in your life, you're meeting other people that are interactive in their life, and they don't treat themselves like trash, so they wouldn't want to treat the person that they're with like trash either. And you build the emotional connection from being and having interest and seeing the same people over time. And that's how connections are made. Otherwise, you're meeting someone like, hey, I threw this dart in the blackness and hope that it landed on a bullseye. The chance of that happening, we all know, are going to be like very slim to none, which is why you're overstimulated, because you're like, this is what it is, and it's because that's the way you're doing it. It's like, if you're only going to try and meet somebody online or try and do it, because it's not that. It's about you becoming yourself, becoming love. God says, I know what you want more than you know what you want. That's what really the problem is. You're not letting the universe bring you what you want. It's because you're like, well, I don't really believe I can have it. Where really Spirit says, well, are you doing it for yourself? Because really that love, that unconditional love, comes from becoming yourself, because nobody's going to be perfect all the time. And the thing is, in you trying to become it for someone else, you'll always come up short. Really, you can, because you are. You are love. How can you not get it when you are it? It's like you gotta not do things that way. Because where you might be like, well, other people can date online. Yes, some people can. It works out. The majority can't. A lot of wounds, it's very difficult too. So it's also to be able to maintain some control and to be able to trust yourself. You have to set yourself up for success, and that's where you're becoming yourself, setting boundaries, because you don't emotionally care when a person comes into your life, and even though you like them a lot, you have other things going on in your life. That's another problem that happens, where it's you give too much away. And then the lesson is, well, that person made me feel as if I was disposable. That person made me feel as if I'm not good enough, when really Spirit's saying, feel like you're not good enough. And it's like, why? No, that person made me feel as if I'm not good enough. And then Spirit says, you wouldn't be able to attract a person like that into your life unless you felt that way. Well, my mother made me feel that way, or this person made, and then so Spirit says, you never integrated the spiritual lesson, because all you are is love. You're perfect. Even if you don't perceive that you're perfect. You might say, well, I have one arm. I said, you're perfect. I made you perfect. You were supposed to only have that one arm. Your life, spiritual lessons are supposed to grow you. So we're born into family karma, and all this karma could be health issues. It could be, parents that had financial problems. It could be, relationship, growing up into divorce, whatever it is, those traumas, then we inherit, and we inherit them by adapting behaviorisms to compensate, core beliefs and behaviorisms. So when we say, okay, well, now I've gotten to a place of I'm in a relationship, but it's like I can't trust myself to actually be in a relationship because it never works out. I don't really believe I can have what I want. Then again, that's where the focus is, instead of unconditional love. But if you were becoming what you love by doing what you love, connecting to all different people, and living your bliss, because that's how you live your bliss. You don't logically try and figure this out. You're trying to logically, we don't logically try and figure anything out. It's actually what you desire passionately about. You're putting your energy to, and that grows, and you become a magnet for that. And then, like I said, that your intuition is going to tell you what's off, because you're not going to have anxiety, because you're not going to say, oh, I'm worried about this person, what they're going to do. You're too busy having a good time in your life. You're too busy interacting with friends that you met, that you're not going to, like, you'll be able to tell if a person's shady. You'll be able to, because the person didn't just come into your life 1,000 miles an hour and, become everything you wanted them to become, and where you felt tricked. You'll be able to say, well, I can trust myself because certain things happened and I was able to intuitively pick up on it. And sometimes that may be where you actually have to set a boundary. And other times it's where you're like, I don't want you to date this person. But here, for the both of you, is that I felt like it's like that those relationships did something to you. And now you're in a place of healing, and who knows when we're going to get out. Like, and Spirit says you don't really need to, like, to again control it. It's like, just become yourself. When you're ready to date, you'll know, you'll be strong, because you won't be able to give as much as you gave to the narcissist. And we can never go back and that to being that way. Does anyone have any questions? I wound up, like, getting in there where it's, again, there were spiritual readings. So it's not really about, will this person come back? A lot of times you don't want the person to come back at all. Like, however, it's about how we contribute to the situation, how to heal from the situation, and what we want. Because is a lot of times, every situation, there's many different ways the situation can play out. What you do is what shapes the relationship. And the only thing that I didn't like I said, was that where I'm like, I know the feeling of, well, I just don't want to date because I don't trust. And until someone proves to me. I also prefer to know more about my energy than others' energy. Well, I think that the way that your energy is that, like I said, I feel like it should be on your soul's purpose. That you need. You're welcome, but I want you to be right now to focus on your passion. And I feel like what that is. It's within. I feel like within, like, kind of like the holistic field, to become like a coach, to become, because there's a sense of needing to connect to other people. See, when you're so highly sensitive, you become, like, so introverted. And that's the one thing that I don't like. It's almost like you're living too safe, Spirit's saying. It's like you gotta go out and like, again, and you'll be able to do it if you connect to your mind, meaning logically, like I should do this anyway because it'll help my career. It'll help me make money. It'll help me create my own identity. It'll be a vehicle to help me meet other people that are like-minded. And once you do that, you'll end up, like I said, attracting the right people into your life. Because I feel like that's with your energy, Serbi. It's like, it's very, very sensitive energy, very nice energy. But I feel like it's all about creating yourself right now, and then you're gonna meet people, and I think eventually, even though you say you don't want to get married, I can feel you getting married, because the marriage is gonna not be like anyone else's marriage. You're different. You've always been somebody different. You've been like a free spirit in your own right. So yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like that's you've always been that person. You've always been somebody that's creative, intuitive, someone that steps outside, right, that does things differently. So sometimes you get crap because of it. Yeah, but the thing is, it won't by the time that it actually happens. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you go back traveling, and you go to all these different places and meet all these different things, you become more of yourself. There's a part of you right now that's like, oh my God, you visualize what you grew up in, and you're like, I don't like what that looked like. And so no one would want that. Hello, Sandy. Um, no one wants that. That's why I'm saying it goes against who you are. Like, where marriage doesn't need to look like that. Doesn't it's really about two people that are best friends that wind up getting intimate. I mean, to be honest with you, it's like that's your favorite person. So, there's a part of you that needs to stop saying, "Oh, this is what it looks like and I don't want it," and just become yourself, because you're not confident now, and that's why you're cutting yourself off. Yeah, it's true though, Stacy. Like, I mean, it's when you become yourself, people then also view you from that perspective, where they know better. They're not going to be like, "Oh, you're always going to be around," because you just always waiting for me. They can clearly see that you're not. It's like, "Oh, I'm not around." You're training a person not by playing games, but by, living your life. And that, forces a person to have to adapt a little bit to your schedule, to think about. I think a lot of times people go into the relationship so fast they lose themselves in the relationship. And that's what everyone's afraid of. They're like, well, it's like, I don't know. Before I know it, we're getting married. And it's like no one would want that, especially with the cost of things and whatever. So I can guarantee, if you're having a love affair in your own life, first of all, you're going to seem attractive just because of that, because most people aren't having a love affair in their own life. They get caught up in the everyday bills, life. So that's number one. It's to be able to transcend that, and to be able to not focus on those things in order to stay abundant. And right, and to go slow, but the way that you can go slow, because a lot of people say, I can't go slow. That's a problem. I emotionally feel what they want, and I do what they want, or before what they want in my relationship. So the spirit says, yeah, but that's because there's not enough other passions, enough distractions in your life. So part of you training a person, and I have to say it that because you have to teach a person how you want to be treated, is to how much you give them and how you're treating yourself. So when you're interactive in a lot of other things and you make friends, well, that person's going to see that. They're going to say, this person has a lot of people in their life. So they also think twice about how they treat you, because they're like, well, there may be consequences. You don't know. But it's also a way that if, God forbid, the relationship doesn't work out because for whatever reason, to say you date someone and that person doesn't want to be with you any longer, you're not going to have a heart attack, because you have so many other things that bring you emotional support. And so that second chakra, I feel like on both, You guys needed to be, needed to put more energy into that to become yourself, to so that you can really become love, attract what you love, and not just through that one person, but through everything. That's what it means to be abundant, that the universe is abundant, that you have the universe inside of you. You are abundant. So, in order to transcend our wounds, because you can't help the situations that you went through, or what you've perceived, or what you've inherited, it's just what happened. You have to get to a space where you're losing yourself in what you love to do. And that is the bigger issue. Right, exactly. And that's what says, Serby, that's what Spirit said with you. Again, you need to go back out and again create yourself. And I feel like within holistic arts, travel, you'd be a great nutritional coach by learning to different lands and learning about the herbs and talking to different people because you're very friendly. It's again, and you like to learn. It's like, but you're not doing any of that. And so the thing is, you're not really doing what you love. You're not embodying that. And you want someone to meet you from that perspective so that they're like, oh, so what plans do you got going on in that basket of yours? And then you'd be like, oh, this is like basil and whatever. Oh, yeah, you're going to make that texture. You're talking about stuff, not about a relationship. It's like you don't want to tell everyone everything about yourself either. It's like they need to be earned. Those people need to earn what you tell them. And that's through how much time you give them. It's not like, oh, I'm not going to tell you everything so that you can use all that shit against me. No, 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 no. If you're giving time to me, you're going to obviously know about me. And that's the thing. It's like, it's to be more in the now, to become more in that, and to be a little bit more, like closed off, because you want a person to emotionally connect to you, and not they're only going to do that by trying to get to know you, by trying to like by observing what you like. Otherwise, that's not happening, and that's why I'm saying. But if you love, then it's really difficult to be able to do that with someone that you're really attracted to, someone that you really like. You have to be realistic with yourself. And so I feel like once you do all that, you'll go back out dating. Do I feel like you're getting married tomorrow, Serby? No, but I feel like it happen. It's like 9 out of 10 chance it's going to happen, and it's because you're not going to be the same person. It's like you become someone else just through the walk of life. It's just don't make the walk of life miserable and lonely and not colorful and not whatever. It's like, and everything will work out for the both of you. It's like you learn, you integrate the spiritual lesson. Once you integrate the spiritual lesson, you are no longer on that vibration where you will attract was before either. It's impossible. It's like because those people need you to come down, and you're like, I'm not going to come down. I'm having a great time where I am at. So why would I energy to be that? It's like no. It's like would I eat? I could either at a 5-star restaurant or I could eat at Taco Bell. I'm going to go to the 5-star restaurant. It's like it's all depends on how you view it. It's like those people want you to like settle for less. And a lot of times when you lose yourself and you're so accommodating and you have nothing else going on, then it's like we are accommodating because we're like, well, I want to treat them the way that I get treated. So I'm going to treat them. No, no, no. You have to treat yourself that way. And then understand you already treat that person nicely, but you treat that person that way. And you won't settle. You don't settle because again, you're having too much of a good time in life that you're like, why am I going to settle? It's like my life is good. It's like a new opportunities happen all the time. I meet new people all the time because you're what you love, doing what you love, connecting. It's like you're going to be like, I'm going to have this energy come into my life. It's like you wouldn't. You'd be like, I can't. Yeah, and be number one because you were with a narcissist, so you're like, I already did that. I cannot go back. Someone has been with someone like that. It's like you just can't do it. You might try to do it. You'll be like, I just can't do it. And the reason why is just because we don't have it in us. You begin to see and notice things even without being interactive in life. The issue is that you will continue to meet a narcissist until you become someone, because a narcissist, a lot of times it means that you you know that you don't know your worth, and that narcissist is hoping that you don't know your worth either. It's like, but really, when you do, it's through life. Right, like when the vibration is low, you cannot be with someone on a low vibration if you have a high vibration. And a person on a low vibration can only go up this high for a certain amount of time and then they go back down. So they can't hold the vibration. And so what happens is someone that's on a higher vibration winds up going to a lower vibration by making excuses for that, accommodating that person by settling for less. Like, well, I like that person. When really it's like we see it in the beginning. So it's like, and so you say, well, it's difficult to get someone on a high vibration. Not if you're loving yourself, not if you are investing in yourself. Because when you're investing in yourself, you meet a lot of different people, and we'd be like, how did you meet your new boyfriend? Well, I was taking pottery class, and every week I sat next to Marianne, and Marianne, like, she talks a lot, and she wants to just sit next to me, and I don't know. And her brother came and picked her up, and he asked me out, and he was hot. Were you looking for that? No, you weren't even looking for it. You were just, to be honest with you, Marianne was a little annoying. However, kind of felt bad for her, and she's like, again, makes you laugh. Sat next to her. Bottom line is, you didn't control it. You didn't do anything. You acted from your intuition, and you were like, I just thought I was going to sit next to Marianne because I felt like she needed a friend, when really, like, that was your higher self that was trying to tell you something else. But you weren't controlling it. You weren't looking for it. And now you're meeting someone through someone else that now, does that mean that they can't do anything to you? No, that person could be a jerk too, but chances are that the relationship would go slower, and in the slower part you get to know, because when you know the person, it's not like, well, it's a hookup, you know what I mean? It's like, because guess what, next week my sister's going to see that lady that I just hooked up and screwed over, and that would create problems for my sister, so I'm not going to do that. It's like you create boundaries. It's like you're able to attract different people into your life and have more control. But when you're strong within yourself, you're able to also be like, I don't want you in my life. You're crying. I'm sorry that you're sad. I'm not going to be manipulated into this, because narcissists like stuff too, like play the victim, and you'll look back and be like, oh, I felt for that all the time. And it's like, because you saw the good in them. And so it's a way that you can be like, it's also like, well, I wanted to give them a chance because I know what it feels like to not have a chance, or to not have people. It's like, you don't do any of that. You're like, this is what it is, and I don't care. Right. It's not draining, though, when you're living your life the right way. It's draining when we allow it, and it's difficult to not allow it when you don't have the other things in place. And they know that. That's why I'm saying part of the narcissist way is to be like, well, I'm going to isolate you. I'm going to make sure you have no friends and no hobbies, no interests. This way I can, control you, and I can, tell you things about yourself that you'll believe, after a while. And that's my way of keeping you put. get to do whatever I want. So it's again, that can't happen if you are interactive in your life and someone comes into your life and says, I don't like the fact you go to square dancing every Friday. You'd be like, I don't give a fuck what you like and what you don't like. It's like, and why, and what gave you that strength? And Stacy, you'd be like, well, to be honest with you, I don't really like dancing either. But all the guys that go there, they're really hot. And I'll be damned, I'm not going to go. Not to mention they give away chicken dinner after. I'm staying for the chicken dinner. I'm staying to look at all the good looking people there. And it's my social time. And this jerk off that I just met is coming into my life and they have a problem with it, is making me feel bad about it. Bye. It's like there's, like I said, you're having too much of a good time. There's too many other perks within your life that you'd be like, I can see it. I can see this person has an issue. And what they do too is they say, I can't control this person. It's just easier for me to go for lower hanging fruit. Someone that doesn't really invest in themselves. And guess what? For those that you would get caught up in somebody like that, they come around after a while, let's say, and deal with your square dancing. Well, it's again, they're going to meet all your friends, and then your friends are going to say something to you, and your friends will eventually probably say something to them as well if they step out of line. So you have other things in your life to help. It's usually when the person is like, no, I want this to work out. And they force a relationship that they know is not good. But then, like you said, that only happens if you haven't been in a narcissistic relationship a lot of times, because you can't give as much as you gave to the first person. And second of all, unless, like I said, you're allowing it, and that won't happen. So I feel like that's pretty much for you and Serby, that was really like the answer. Like it's not so much one or the other. Like so spiritual work, working on myself, making new friends, opening up, having strong boundaries, not settling, having a splendid life, having more people than being fixed on one. I think it's having a love affair in your own life and feeding those passions that you have in your life, because then you're going to meet minded people that are friends that are going to teach you, show you new things. And why I say that is because sometimes when we just have our friends that we pick, those friends can be stuck in a rut also. The way the spiritual work is more of a grounding work. Right. It's living and loving on yourself to a point that, you're really investing in your life to the point that emotionally you feel so fulfilled. And you might say, oh, no, that isn't possible. Let me tell you something. It is. Well, you laugh. It's like when you have a love affair with yourself, that means like you're taking yourself to different places, taking yourself out to dinner, that you're confident, that you're meeting different people in your life because you're confident, that you're willing to try different things. This is your energy, Serby. That's part of the reason why you're like, oh, I don't want to get married. And so it's to be that happy person that you are, to again try different things, right? And to where it feels good. And then, like I said, then people are going to come into your life that offer something, because what you'll notice is nobody's perfect, and you wouldn't want to hang out with anyone every single day, when it comes to like friends. A lot of times, I mean, you can talk to someone every single day and they could be your best friend, but even sometimes you need to take a break. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you have to think of it like this, that you're the bowl of ice cream, right? Let's just say your favorite ice cream is chocolate ice cream. You love chocolate ice cream. And then Spirit says, okay, that's all you're going to eat from here on out is chocolate ice cream. After a while, you'd be like, I don't really like chocolate ice cream as much because I could always have it whenever I want. Now, think of yourself as grabbing that small little bowl of chocolate ice cream at the end of the day. It would become something that you look forward to. It would be something enjoyable. You're the chocolate ice cream in a relationship. So does that mean that the person goes out and eats at every single different restaurant, meaning that there's always different people that they date? No, because there's a lot of different and passions that you actually should have, not just one thing. Now, one person, if you want that type of relationship that is monogamous, you can have that. You live that life by you only dating that one person, and you're interactive in a lot of other passions in your life. So if you love music, you're putting your energy there. If you put it like everywhere where Stacey, I feel like you do like music. So it's again, you're putting your energy towards the things that you love. And then, like I said, then you're meeting other people. And like I said, you get strong within yourself. So yeah, it is like to have love affair with yourself because you're becoming the vibration of love, remember. And that doesn't happen unless you invest in yourself and trying different things and going to different places. Almost like what you would want a person that comes into your life, if they would have a love affair with you, what would it look like? Well, again, you can remove the sex part, you know what I mean? Or you can keep it, but what it is, it's to do little help from my friends. Yeah, like I mean, but I think that it's to put your energy into those things and see and then decide what you want because you don't 100% know what you want. And like I said, you haven't seen yourself strong. And like I said, once you're out and about and you're trying different things, you're both attractive. It's not like you're not going to meet people. It's like you will. And so, you know, when you're balanced, you'll see because you'll see, well, I'm able to handle that situation. I think that that's the answer for you girls. Do you guys have any other questions? Because this has gone over like an hour. This is the healing channel. Do you feel healed? What it's about. It's can you have what you want? Absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, good. Okay. Like I just wanted to make sure. So you guys need to go and do that again and then come back and I can guarantee you'll get a different reading. It'll talk about places that you're going, things that you're doing, possible relationship, you know, and those are not bad things. You know, like I said, those are all good things. So you'll have to both come back. All right, I'm going to go. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you, Serby. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, by the way. I always love reading your comments. Thank you, Stacy. I'll talk to you guys soon.